welcome to the SailGP INSPIRE Grand Final in San Francisco. We're about to head down to the waterfront where the sailors are preparing for their final races of the event. And Jesse and Elise are down at the waterfront to take us through what the sailors have been doing this week and what the SailGP INSPIRE program is all about.
About 15 participants now work for SailGP on the tour, and that's super exciting, and they're a part of the program permanently now. And then 50 sailors, young sailors who have been involved in the program, they have positions in marine biology and everything like that. So it's pretty exciting to see how they can all continue on. And what do you think about seeing them on these big F-50 catamarans one day?
Oh, it'll happen. You know, it's really, really close to happening. We've seen kids that pretty much have gone through these programs that now actually are doing work on the boats. You know, we've got one of the Kiwis, Sean Herbert. He was part of the SailGP INSPIRE program. He was with the Kiwis in Christchurch at the last event. So he's now working for the team. You know, last year he was in this program. He's now working in the team, which is pretty incredible. But this is what it's all about. We're coming up to a race for the WASZP. So if you've just arrived, welcome in. It's great to have you with us here. It's the SailGP WASZP INSPIRE program, and with me, joining me, is Mark Ablett. Mark, you're part of the SailGP WASZP INSPIRE program. We're about to get a race under the way. Talk me through it, mate. How good is this?
Yes, mate. It's firstly unbelievable to be here in San Francisco. We've just hit the start button. We've got the boys who are racing here in this first race. So the boys will race first, the girls will race second. These kids have raced 16 races across this week, and it's been an incredible week. A little bit wet, Jesse, but it was good the sun came out this morning, and obviously San Francisco Bay is turning it on. So they're coming down the first reach at the moment. They're going to do a slalom downwind course, and they will finish just off here where the F50 finishing is.
So if you're on the grandstand, just looking up towards the Golden Gate Bridge there, that yellow mark is mark number 1, and we got the WASZP ripping around it now, and it looks like, is it a Kiwi or an Aussie in first place?
I think that might be Noah Malpot from New Zealand. He won the 2022 New Zealand National Championships in the WASZP. He's really progressing well. It's really tight, obviously, up there in the front pack. There's some great stories in the fleet. For all those US fans out there, our Hawaiian athlete Gavin Ball is actually leading the event under the US banner. He's got a good lead at the moment, and they'll be finishing off their series later on today. So make sure you give him plenty as he comes past.
So coming around mark number 2 now, that red marker as you look out towards the Golden Gate Bridge. This is just a downwind slalom course. They don't have to worry about going upwind. This is all just fast, furious, come downwind. And it is boat number 7. I think that is the Australian.
It is the Australian, mate. So that's Louis Tilley, and he came second in the Australian Nationals in January. He qualified at the SailGP INSPIRE event in Sydney. He's 16 years of age, and he's really, really coming along. And I think we've got Louis' parents in the crowd as well, so make sure you give a cheer as he comes past. But Gavin Ball is in second place, I would think. Anything can happen on this slalom course. It's obviously very shifty, and there's pressure coming down the shoreline here, Jesse.
Look at this gust that he's got himself into right now. Great little gust. And very similar to what we're going to see in the main event, the grand final event. Picking these ships is going to be absolutely crucial, and the Aussie's doing it well, but the American hot on his tail.
Yeah, I think Gavin's in a really good puff there. He's just soaking down. You can see the change in angle there. He's a bit lower. He's pointing the front of his boat down a little bit, so he's really on the hunt here for Louis. And look at the congestion we've got here in the back, and there's some great stories here. We've got a Singapore sailor, Bermudan sailor, who essentially, you know, probably 12 months ago, they actually couldn't foil. And now they've gone through the INSPIRE program. They've had a little bit of time in the boat, and they're right up there.
Oh, close finish coming up. Is it going to be the American pipping him at the post? It is. So USA takes race number 1 of the WASZP INSPIRE program with the Australian boat in second place, and big fight for third. Who's it going to be? It is going to be
New Zealand, I think.
Noah Malpot from New Zealand picking up third place there. Oh, a lot of congestion at the finish.
There was, mate, and as I said, anything can happen on this slalom. I mean, Louis looked like he had a really good lead there, and Gavin, I've been watching a few of Gavin's races. He's done that a few times, getting that late jibe in off the shore, and I tell you what, he was pretty happy about it when he came across the finish. Yeah, so at the moment they're just changing. the men change over to the female group. And yeah, there's some fantastic stories out there, Jesse. The Bermudan sailor, Rachel, who's out here sailing. As I said, very raw on the foils, probably, you know, upwards of 12 months ago, qualified, has really put a lot of work in. She's also doing her exams while she's here, so she's been doing an exam every morning before she's come sailing. She just said she couldn't miss this event, and to be honest, she's been an absolute revelation. She's coming second overall in the competition, and I just think it's fantastic for this Inspire program to see very much a development event in Bermuda, and she's come through and she's running second in the competition.
So you're telling me this morning she woke up, did some exams, and then comes down here and sails the boat. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely, she's given a little wave to the crowd there as well. She's very dedicated. Part of, you know, she put her goals down of what she wants to do in sailing, and you know, she wants to be part of SailGP team, but surprisingly not as a sailor. She wants to be as an engineer in that. So you know, she's got a really good head on her shoulders for a 16-year-old.
I see why the exams are so important now. Makes sense. And they're boat number 8 in the New Zealand flag. That is Stella Bilger. She's had a great series so far, leading in the girls' competition. Can anyone stop her?
To be honest, I don't think so. She's an absolute star, Stella. She came and did the first ever Inspire racing in Sydney when we had a combination of the New Zealand and Australian fleet there. She did really, really well there. And she's obviously qualified for this event a couple of years down the track. Does a bit of IQ foil and wind foiling as well, and she's just a frother, mate. Like, she actually just loves being out on the water, and a big smile on her face all the time.
I once asked Stella what it was like to sail in the WASZP, and she likened it to being like a pelican, because most of the time she was just flying above the water, but every now and then she'll dunk it in and go for a bit of a swim. So Stella looks like she's been keeping the boat out of the water this week. Hasn't been too much like a pelican going for a dive. But yeah, let's see if she can keep that lead and charge through for the win here.
Yeah, it's been really apart from Stella, it's been really tight in the female event. Unfortunately, just before the crowd started rolling in, we actually had a collision between a couple of boats. There was a T-bone, and you might see that the Danish boat is actually not on the course at the moment. She's actually sailing the Singaporean boat. We've had to take one boat off the course, but Hedvig Dokstrod is from Norway, sailing under the Danish flag, and she's been right in the mix. She's on the podium.
And that's, of course, in the WASZP. Don't worry, all our F50s, the SailGP boats are intact and looking good. So San Francisco, welcome in. Racing coming our way very, very soon. But we're now getting our first chance to see these F50 boats in action as they're coming out to go through the paces. And this is also one of my favorite things about the SailGP Inspire program, is that these youngsters are here going through, you know, the paces, doing their own race, and then right behind them, they've got their heroes in the F50s charging around. Must be pretty cool to have your heroes watching you sail.
Absolutely. I mean, the experience these kids are getting is absolutely second to none. I mean, you know, we both grew up sailing, you know, as young people, and these wasn't an option for us when we were growing up. And just to fill people in on what their week has been like and a bit of the prize on the end of it, the first day they got here, they actually spent a whole day with the teams. They were integrated into the teams and doing jobs and things like that, a little bit of like what the Inspire Careers is. And then as they get through, we talk about how Gavin Ball's been, you know, winning this week. Stella are right up there. There's a huge prize on the end of this where if whoever wins, male and female, they get to spend one event with the team. They get to get on the F50, they get to drive the F50. It's a pretty special prize. So as Elise was saying earlier, there's been a lot of the kids have been integrated into the teams, and they're starting on their career path. So this is just a stepping stone for them, and it's a really, really special opportunity for people to, you know, kids under 21 years of age. If you're a kid under 21, you'd be mad not to be part of this competition, because the experiences and the opportunities you get are just second to none.
So we've got about 2 minutes till the start of the girls' race for the SailGP Inspire program. A precursor for the main event. This is the Mubadala SailGP Season 3 Grand Final event. We've got 3 incredible races today, and a team that was doing incredibly well, San Francisco, was this team right out in front of us here. It is Great Britain Emirates Sail GBR, and they were looking good. They were looking incredibly strong yesterday, Mark. 2 wins in practice racing and a 2nd place. They need a great result here to jump up into one of the top 3 spots.
Yeah, we were standing out here yesterday, and they were looking pretty slick in their manoeuvres, absolutely. And yeah, it could be something today, as you see France going right through the WASP fleet down there.
Yeah, so this is our race start for the girls in the WASP program. So if you're looking from the grandstand up to the Golden Gate Bridge, we've got the French team in the background, and just before them we've got the SailGP WASPs there. They're about a minute to go till this starts, so look for them to start winding up, popping up onto the foils, and that start is just moments away. So you can either look up towards the Golden Gate Bridge, or we've got it on the screens here. So counting down to the start, they're winding up. Here they come, Mark, here they go.
And they're all up on the sticks, except we've got one boat that's parked it. It's the US sailor. That's Rebecca Heller from Canada.
Yeah, looked like a great start for the teams from down under. The Australian boat coming off the line in first, with Stella Bilger from New Zealand not far behind in second.
Yeah, and absolutely, we've got Eve Kennedy and Seisha Mayer, Seisha Mayer's from Australia. Looks like the British sailor has just rolled straight over the top. That's Eve Kennedy coming into this first turning, Mark. Plenty on as they all come down. Stella Bilger right on their heels.
Big moment. Can they stay up on the foils? Always critical, this first manoeuvre as they come around. Big gust on as well. Can they do it? Great manoeuvre there from the Kiwi. Stella leading the way at Mark 1.
Super slick, and as we see, we've got Rachel, who's right on her hammer. She's from Bermuda, and she's sailing really, really well. Couple of boats have parked it there around the first jibe. Remember, we've got the Singapore boat here, who's actually the Danish boat. So that's Hedvig Doxrod that's actually in there in the Singaporean boat. But they're coming out in the middle of the course right now as we see the Danish team doing a bit of a hot lap there as well.
And every minute that goes by, this wind seems to be picking up, which is great news for the big racing that's going to be coming our way later. But it is, as expected, probably the 2 leaders in this girls' competition, the Kiwi and the Bermudan, looking strong.
Yeah, very interesting coming down here onto the shore just in front of the Adrenaline Lounge and St Francis Yacht Club here. So looks like Stella Bilger's got a little bit more pressure coming down here, and it looks like the Bermudan could have lost a few places here as she goes through the jibe, and a little bit sticky on the foils. Stella Bilger just keeping it in the air, and we've got the Australian coming through as well.
Oh, now look, yeah, Stella's stopped dead in the water, hasn't quite made it around that mark. So the Aussie's gone from first back to about 5th, but she's all the way back up into first now. This is just really tricky conditions out there. We can just see exactly how patchy it is. And when we say patchy, ladies and gents, when you look out on the water, you'll see these dark patches of water. That's, of course, more wind. So you really want to be making sure you're sailing your boat into those dark patches of water. And it's the Aussie that's been doing a great job of that as they come into the finish line. But a big finish coming up. Who's it going to be? It looks like the British boat has come from nowhere and pipped her at the post. Or is it?
Oh, so I think Eve Kennedy just got that. The Kiwi Stella Bilger putting on a show, and a great performance by Seisha Mayer as well. That was a great race. It looked like it went very light in the middle there, but anything can happen on this shore course, and it was fantastic. As we saw, there was a bit more breeze on the shoreline here. The boats that came in a little bit further seemed to do a little bit better.
All right, San Francisco, they've just finished their race number 1. It was the British boat in first place, and a battle, probably second equal, I think, for the Australians and the Kiwis. San Francisco, it's our WASP SailGP INSPIRE program. Let's give them a round of applause as they come on by. Give them a wave.